When we last left our group of Hallies, Torment, the Tiefling Druid.
How's it going?
Ash, the Kalistar Warlock.
Hi.
Vort, the Goliath Paladin.
Hello.
And Azrael, the details redacted because the player was being a little bitch.
Hi.
Our party engaged in a violent battle against their own ineptitude, with our poor druid falling prey to a vicious arcane sandwich, Azrael falling prey to his own alarm clock, Vort falling prey to, well, his own religion, and Ash falling prey to her inability to successfully convince anybody she's telling the truth. After a long-fought encounter and some shenanigans involving the guard and a certain professor, the party find themselves in the our party find themselves in an odd spot on the outside the security building of the academic ward. Outside the security building near the library in the Arcane University campus, and another in jail because that keeps happening. Okay, let's continue. So, Vort, you are showing Azrael and Torment. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm there.
You said you were going to show them the book?
Yes.
Okay. You go into your bag and you retrieve the book, and yeah, because I assume you put it back there for some forsaken reason, I don't know. And you retrieve it. Azrael and Torment, if you guys like, I'd like for you guys to roll knowledge religion, please.
Alrighty.
That's a 11.
17.
Okay. Let me roll something real quick. Okay. Azrael, pick a number just because from this my sake. You recognize one of the symbols on there.
That.
You recognize the symbol of... Make sure I got this name. Gotta go on my big list. You recognize the symbol of Bathaman.
Okay.
It is on the... it is towards the center of the book. And you see two other symbols that you don't recognize, two other holy symbols. And Torment, you recognize all three.
Alright.
Atop the symbol of Bathaman is the symbol of Nuthaxian.
Wait, are you saying Baphomet or Baphomet?
Bathomin. I can write it for you in the Discord. I can open that up on my phone for writing for you guys. Because I can't just copy paste in there.
You can
and
also...
Velixian, I see it. Oh, right, I can put it in the general chat, in the Roll20. I see it. All right, so here you guys go.
I was actually going to say my my drive for Torment's entire thing.
I need to open more notes. All right, here you go. That's how you spell it. It's in the Roll20.
All right.
That is how Bathaman's name is spelled. That is Bathaman, the god of truth's holy symbol in the center. Above them, you see the holy symbol for Nuthaxian.
All right.
Azrael, the symbol isn't familiar to you, but both of you recognize Nuthaxian. They are the god of the god of light.
I spelled that wrong. And
below that is the symbol of Bycaxian. You both know this god as the god that their domain is all that is not bathed in light. They are colloquially known as the god of darkness, but the religion, Torment, the church is very picky about that. We don't want to sound evil, guys.
So how is this book, like, sealed?
It is a it is a metallic casing around the book that has a leather top with the 3 holy symbols on it, and there's a little wire that kind of runs through the leather into the symbol. You actually noticed it looks like there's a lock underneath each symbol, and Bathaman and Nuthaxians are unlocked, but Bycaxians is locked still.
And Bycaxian is god of light absence.
Is god of
Just
light is god
just
of light
for-
absence, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much their domain is what isn't naturally showered in light. The Underdark or a dark cave. If there's no like naturally occurring light there, that is said to be area that Bycaxian keeps an eye on.
All right. Considering that Torment notices all the symbols on the book, he sort of starts to get a little bit like twitchy and nervous. He starts scratching at his shoulder, clearly a little bit panicked, specifically with the Bycaxian symbol on the book. That wretched god watched me suffer 20 years. Watched me. He just kind of starts like try to calm himself down. So let's see what happens. I'm just gonna do a quick wisdom check.
Go for it.
So far it's not working. I'm still pretty panicky.
What?
Torment, you notice that this paladin holding the book has Bycaxian's symbol on the top crest of his armor.
Wretched God, wretched. Ah! You watched me, did nothing. You watched me, did nothing. Absence of light, no. You darkness.
I look at Azrael and ask, is he okay?
Explain the meaning behind that. Torment immediately just points at the book.
By pointing at the book, are you talking about the symbol?
I'd say it's kind of hard to tell specifically, considering I'm like maybe like 10, 15 feet away, somewhere in that range. So I'm just pointing at the book in general, as far as you know.
Can I see the book?
You may see the book. I respond to Torment. I was retrieving this book for the ancients of my monastery.
Monastery to whom?
Bycaxian.
Immediately just kind of looks away, just trying once again to see if he can, calm himself the fuck down. Nope, still not working.
Maggie, I recommend you stand over there.
It's not my name. It's not my name. Torment. Regardless, Torment is going to shuffle off a little further away. He's about 20 feet away at this point.
Now that it's just the adults.
You sassy bitch.
You know that two of these. Wait, I got that like 2 of them were unlocked, right? Like I understood that 2 of them were unlocked. DM.
You roll an investigation check.
I do. was a
Oh,
natural 1 sound.
Why,
Still 7 on the die.
why are there wires in leather?
Ah.
Wouldn't that rip the pages? How do you open this thing?
DM, can I make another wisdom check?
You may do so.
All right. Damn.
Hands the book back.
I said book.
That book is unnerving the hell out of me.
Do you mind if I follow you back to your temple?
I don't mind, but I don't know if they will let you in.
You hear a voice in your head again, Vort, as the sun has now completely set. Time is running shorter, Vort. We are waiting for you.
It was nice to meet you, but I must go now. They are growing impatient.
I'm gonna follow you.
Hey, Vort, would you also roll a would you roll a Constitution check?
Okay.
I got some questions, by the way, about the con checks, and there's a reason that I'm using it for this purpose. I gave it some thought.
5.
All right. You feel kind of funny, but you're not sure why.
Wait, has the sun completely set at this point?
There's still, like, you know that dusk where it's really dark, you can barely see.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect any like visibility or anything like that, but underneath of the several bandages that Torment has all over his body, a few sections from underneath those bandages start to glow a variety of colors. Like a light violet, some green, some blue in there. Also one of his eyes, too.
Seeing as how it's getting dark, I'm gonna minor conjuration a lamp and just hold it as we walk.
Constitution check again, Vort.
Okay. 20.
That odd feeling went away.
Let's go.
Okay. We
Torment follows.
All right. So you guys start walking. You start seeing lamps appear in the
Abandoned May the sun.
in the stone buildings of Hollyvara. You see the dormitories lighting up. You hear the sounds of students hanging out in their rooms, some of them playing instruments. You hear some glass shattering. At one point, you hear an argument in one of the dorms. A guy goes like, no, name a problem it can't solve. Name a problem it can't solve. It can't solve, I don't know, say you're thirsty. You need something to drink. You're going to die of thirst. How does that get solved by fireball? Simple. I burn a fucking tree to the ground, and when the water starts to pop, I drink it. That's not how that works at all. It's how I will make it work. You look, Azrael, roll a perception check.
Okay. Perception?
Yeah.
Natural 20.
You recognize that voice. That kid went to your class a couple semesters ago. Really, really cool kid. But you do know that he wants to be known as the greatest fireball user ever, as he calls it the arcane skeleton key. And if you look up and you recognize his room by the fact that there's a giant fireball rules poster hung on the window that is kind of draped out of the window on some cloth.
Perfect.
All right, you guys make your way out of the academic district. I'm sure you guys want to walk the whole way to the temple. You can actually, there's some because it's getting later at night and people are out drinking ale, you actually see that there are some little carriages set up that are ferrying people around for money.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to take one, or you want to keep walking?
I'll keep walking.
Would you like to
I
consult the
wasn't
rest of
given
the
money.
people traveling with you?
Wait, what'd you say?
I said you're traveling with 3 people. I was asking all 3 of you.
Oh, well,
Uh,
I give my opinion.
I don't have any money, so I guess I will walk.
Tormund's just gonna walk as well.
All right. So as you guys are walking, we cut to the inside of the security building. There is a little holding cell. It's not that big. It's got some lanterns up. It's pretty well lit, but it's pretty, generic white stone walls. There's a wood desk where there is a security guard who is doing some paperwork, and in there is Ash. You've been put in this room. What are you doing? Ash? Are you still alive?
Sorry, my brain just flitzed out. What did you say? I'm stuck in my jail.
Yes.
I think that may or may
That's
not
where
have
we're
been
at.
in uncertain terms exactly what I said.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. My brain just fritzed out. I'm just gonna just literally sit right in front of the bars and just like stare at the guard, like with my head right against the bars, just stare. Not making any sound, just stare.
The guard looks up at you and goes, I don't get paid enough for this. And then looks back at his the paperwork he's doing.
Sir, what do you have proof against me? Do you have actual proof?
We have multiple witness testimonies as well as the testimony of 2 guards who didn't
But
fall for
those
that little
are-
trick.
But the thing is, the only reason I was arrested is that you asked that man there, and he didn't even do any tests against me. You just took his word.
Listen, kid, you haven't been arrested. You're being held. There's a difference.
Why am I being held?
For you've been charged with attempted theft. I'm currently going through paperwork, which includes witness testimonies. Some vouch for you, some vouch against you. I'm gonna have to present this to the district attorney, and then we can start working towards getting you released. But you're not going to be put in prison tonight. We're holding you until we can get you to a place where we know you'll be contained and not likely to flee the city.
Again, I did nothing wrong. Well,
You used magic in a magic-free area despite campus rules.
I didn't really use magic. I used a little bit of magic, but that's normal. I thought that was normal for a university.
It's normal when you have an instructor's supervision.
Well, how would I know that?
There was a giant sign in the library that said no magic without an instructor's supervision. Did you not bother to read?
No, I don't read much.
Well, that's not my problem. He goes back to working.
And also, I have trouble with bigger words.
Which word confused you?
The bigger one.
At this moment, the guard captain walks in. She says, Herman, shut up. And she goes and she grabs some of the papers off his desk and begins shuffling through them. A little later, you hear... okay, that should be... Okay. Yes, come in. All clear. The door opens, and a kobold kind of walks into the room. Yeah, I got a guy outside. Says his tenant got into some trouble here with his card. He wants to come in and make sure that everything's all right and all that. Yes, let him in. All right. He walks outside. you start hearing like, oh god, it barely doesn't fit. Get in there! And you start to see the edge of a wagon getting pushed against the door, and finally he shoves it into the door, and sitting in the wagon in his marvelous gelatinous form is Squigorku.
Her eyes light up. Oh, you came!
Angry face.
I don't. They put me in here because a dragon was on my back, and this guy said that it was my dragon.
The notepad is empty. Squigorku is without words. Translating for our gelatinous ooze who must write down all he says yet again. Yeah, I heard there was some mishap. My card got charged with a with a citation. What exactly went on? And she begins to explain, you know, we got a magic reading and all that, and then she's linked to a fairy dragon that's now on the loose. Somebody tied it to her, said they saw it with her. 3 other people confirmed the report, so we're holding her here till we can start the process. And Squirky's like, listen. I'll post her bail, and I'll take the points on the card. Just let the kid go. She's never been in a library before. She was just excited. I'm sure it wasn't anything too serious. Just let her off with a warning, alright? You know, I don't... The guard looks at him. You really think that just because you're a fancy author, that I'm just going to, all of a sudden, out of the ooze, is just a bag of gold. She goes, will this be going to? And before she's even done speaking, it says new books in the library and upgraded and maintenance on the security building. We thank you for your assistance, and we will excuse this just once. It's first offense. She's not a registered student, and she was using a visiting card. With all the confusion, I'd rather just not have to finish doing all of this. The guy behind her, Milford says, what the hell? I was doing it. Shut up, Milford. Smiley face. Let her go. Milford gets up and walks over. He opens the door and escorts you over to Squigorku's wagon.
I'll help you with that. And she just easily just pushes the wagon out.
The kobold's like, wait, no, I'm not ready. And you are now back out onto the plaza with Squigorku and a kobold who is pulling the wagon back towards your home.
I'm sorry. I didn't do anything. And this guy he just put it on me.
It's okay. The guard here can be really, really stingy when it comes to magic use. I saw a kid once get thrown around by the guard because he cast a tiny fireball on a cigarette.
You know, they tackled me twice.
Only twice? They went easy on you. Nice.
Well, they did tie me up.
He just goes, for what it's worth, almost every single one of them was rejected for a guard's position. We all think it's kind of due to anger issues.
I could believe that. Thank you so much.
It's no problem.
No one else was gonna help me.
It's alright. Believe me, I've been campaigning for the school to get better guards and new training in. That's where the majority of my donations to the school go. I was a student here once.
You did? What did you go for?
Common.
Common?
He just, in all caps, in big text, I wrote 4 books.
Oh. Oh.
You guys above game. You have no idea how hard it was for me to stop me from saying I'm an English major because that in universe makes no damn sense.
That's really cool though. But you know the thing that made me upset with? I went there to get an accounting book and I get tackled. And I didn't even get the book.
Why did you use magic in there again?
I didn't. Well, I did a little bit, but that was to protect myself from them.
Roll deception.
Oh,
I did
no.
use to protect myself. God damn it. I swear to fucking God. Pray to all the gods out there.
James chat.
I'd say it. The answer is... You don't know, man. It's a fucking gelatinous cube. The fact that he's this smart makes him an abomination.
We on the middle way. Campaign over.
He goes, I'll speak to the administration again. They shouldn't be tackling people your age, and there's been a few skirmishes with students that are making the news. I'm sure if word gets out they brutally attacked a small child, they would certainly have a lot of damage control they'd need to do.
I'm not small.
Rihanna, how old is your
You
character?
look up at the large gelatinous cube. I don't.
Wait,
he just responds, 19 isn't a child?
No, I'm an adult.
I have much I still need to learn about humans.
How old are you?
I don't know. I have an age range for him.
Age range? You don't have
613.
You're 600 years old.
613 and a half.
Well, when your birthday, let me know so I can celebrate for you.
Will do. You guys, you at this point arrive in the central area. Skagorku gets you. The kobold says, "All right, that'll be 15 silver. Come on, hand it over, author man." Yeah, strangest thing I've seen all day. All right, head over there. My buddy's waiting. He'll take you back home in the underground. All right. Thanks for using scaled. Fuck. Do I have to say it, Recto? Yes. Thanks for using scrappy trails. I'm getting a raise! And he walks off.
Skagorku, why are you getting pushed to the wagon? I could do it.
He goes, I already paid for it.
Oh. Well, next time I'll do it for you, okay?
Okay. Exclamation point, happy face. We cut back to you guys who are now getting into, what did I say the churches were?
The religion district.
No, doesn't exist.
But
we went over the fact that it doesn't exist. I have it somewhere. I just forget. I keep forgetting where in the city I do have it. Where are you, Hollyberry? There you are.
That's me a wisdom check. Torment has substantially calmed down at this point. He's much better than he was earlier.
Right, you guys are going into the economic district. So, you know, the buildings here, they start looking really nice. You start seeing a lot of shops. The buildings here start using more precious metals in their decoration. And you're seeing some uses of metal to reinforce buildings, which is a relatively new thing. Within the last 60 years, Azrael, you know, they've started using metal in their building, and they've actually rebuilt a few old buildings with metal reinforcement added in. With the innovations created in the modern science, you know, you're starting to see some improvements to infrastructure, but it's still compared to real life, it's still very rudimentary, very reliant on wood and stone still. But they're learning. And eventually, you guys arrive at a very ornately decorated. It's an arch, and then behind it is a big hole. Very ornate symbols. The name. The name Bycaxian is written on the arch, and his holy symbol is at the top of the sign. Vort, you made it back.
This is the monastery. Please follow close behind. I will take you with me.
Okay.
As you wish.
I proceed into the monastery with them following.
All right.
I still have my lantern out.
Mushrooms
Oh, yeah.
still glowing.
Professor-looking man, can you please turn your lantern off in here?
Who am I to? Religion. Summons a, let's go with a lollipop and just puts it in his mouth.
Vort, Constitution check.
8.
Funny feelings back, but you still can't put your finger on it.
Okay.
And the deeper you go, the stronger it's getting. You guys, as you descend, there's some torches, there's some dim lights at the beginning, and the deeper you go, the less common they get, the more poorly lit it is. Do any of you guys have dark vision?
Hey.
Torment, you can see pretty well, Azrael.
But I don't have dark vision. But my minor illusion does radiate 5 feet of dim light.
All right, so you can see it's very, very poorly lit. You're kind of using your lollipop to check for stairs as you almost trip down the stairs a few times.
Yeah.
Because they're not. This is a very old structure, so the stairs are not evenly cut at all. Vort, you've gone up and down these stairs tons of times, especially since you started training in the monastery. Eventually, you reach the bottom, and at the bottom is, I say needing to flip through my notes. I'm still not used to this yet. Here we go. Norigawa is standing at the bottom waiting for you. Norigawa is the monk who has been helping you train.
Okay.
You see them standing at the bottom waiting for you. Come. Where have you been?
I had a slight mishap at the library, but everything is fine.
Is the book okay?
The book is okay.
Quickly, the others are getting restless. Who are they? Pointing at Torment and Azrael.
They were intrigued and insisted they followed. What the other one that doesn't look like so much like a professor, going a little crazy when he heard Bycaxian's name, though.
Fine now.
All right.
Hello, I'm Azrael.
Pleasure.
I'm a professor of history over in the academic district.
Ah, very interesting. Have you kept up on your religious history, have you?
A little bit, yeah. Quite a bit, actually.
Well, hopefully your studies in the Nightfall were guided well. You will wait in the main chamber unless summoned forth. Vort, you will watch them. Understood?
Yes.
Hand me the book.
I hand over the book.
He takes it. You see he lifts his head up as to not see it, takes it, puts it behind his back, and then looks down. We are not to lay eyes on this unless instructed otherwise. And he opens the door and goes in. You guys see this very odd, very poorly lit, but with very similar fluorescent coloring to that which is on the mushrooms on Torment's back. A lot of very fluorescent purples, teal, little green, but it really doesn't radiate that much light, though it's kind of very nice shine to it. You see various depictions of major figures, some of which, Azrael, you recognize from your studies. People who fought on Bycaxian's behalf. You can go ahead and roll knowledge religion if you want to see if you recognize any of them specifically.
Wait, are we still talking about mushrooms?
No, we're talking about the images on the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll roll knowledge history.
Roll religion on the mushrooms. What is their religious significance?
I'll roll nature on them to see what species.
That's a 21.
If I had an answer to that, I'd let you do it.
Damn it.
I'm not that well researched, sadly. So, yeah, you recognize a lot of these figures as you recognize them as the high priests and elders of Bycaxian's church. You see different events behind them that they were involved in. You saw one that was a massive eclipse, with the text "the Daywalker" on it. You remember that there was an eclipse that lasted for 3 days, and there was fear that Euthaxian and Bycaxian had gone to war with each other. However, on the third day when it ended, there was a massive plant bloom. So it's assumed that Bycaxian had simply taken a shift for Euthaxian. This was the moment that it was discovered that the two were not enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are led through this large hall. You see a lot of, little rooms, little waiting tables. You see some students practicing maneuvering their way with blindfolds on, trying to get used to being unable to see. You see a lot of different paladins, clerics, monks around, and eventually you are led to a large chamber door at the end, with the words, "That which cannot be seen is that which can always be found."
Okay.
And Norigawa stops, turns around, and says, "The three of you will wait here. I will enter." And he goes in. What do you do?
Tormund's just gonna sit down on the ground for a moment and just give his aching legs a rest. Maybe crack his toes a bit.
I'm gonna summon a new lollipop because I use this one.
I stand there watching over them and waiting.
Vort, how about you rolling me another Constitution check?
13.
You've been kind of, while you're walking down here, trying to figure out what that nagging feeling is in your gut. You're starting to recognize it as that warmth feeling you were feeling in the deprivation chamber, just kind of buried under waves of anxiety.
This is blue raspberry. Wait, DM, can I get confirmation that blue raspberry is a flavor in this world?
How about you roll knowledge? Just general knowledge.
Is that intelligence or wisdom? I can never remember.
Intelligence. I say knowledge history because I've heard a lot of DMs use it, but it's intelligence.
That's
Dirty
a 20.
20.
There is blue raspberry.
I will summon a blue raspberry lollipop.
Yeah, though it's not a naturally occurring. It is not a naturally occurring flavor in the neomateria, especially the parts that used to make up the material plane. You know that is actually a Fey innovation.
Okay.
Thank you, Faye.
Well, I'm sorry for being rude. Would you guys like cake or something?
I could
fine.
eat.
I can
What'd
eat.
you say, Torment?
I said I could eat. I'm definitely starving.
All right. I
Hey,
tossed
go ahead. Keep going.
I tossed a lollipop in the corner and summon a cake, a round cake, about 9 inches, pre-sliced.
Dermot's immediately going after that. Absolutely starving.
Hey, Torment.
Yes.
You want to roll me a Constitution saving throw? No, not a Constitution saving throw. What is it? Shit, I need to pull up a character sheet real quick, and I can't
A
do it on my
con
main
check?
monitor. No, not con check. Con checks, they have a purpose. I know people will complain about that later. It is a Wisdom saving throw. Roll me a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, sure thing. 22.
You feel a sharp, piercing pain and some scream, and you hear like a faint scream in the back of your mind, but you're like, no, get out of my head, and you force it out.
Ah,
That's a messed up cake right there.
the cake. Immediately just starts devouring it. It's like he didn't eat only a few hours ago.
Your gut still hurts. Like you're hungry, but your gut still hurts.
Something more. Ah.
Cake. Cake.
He ate cake.
Eat the cake.
You say that, and suddenly you feel something torment touch your right leg.
He looks down for a moment. Does
Small-
he see anything?
You see a very young female cleric. They're robed. You can just tell from the body shape that they're female. And they're holding a little cup of water.
German is very confused.
She holds the water up to you.
Slowly takes it and is just gonna... Let me just check something real quick. Shit, that's a ritual. But it's one action. Detect poison and disease. Any poisons or diseases in this water.
Not at all.
Alright, he immediately drinks it.
It has a very minerally taste to it, and you actually feel a lot of the tension where some of these mushrooms are in the base of your back eases a little bit. And you see her quickly scurry off and go run towards an older looking cleric who nods and smiles, and she's like, I did it, I gave him water.
He's not really gonna say anything. He's just gonna kind of look confused at the glass, look back at the two of them, and then just give them a nice little, albeit shaky nudge, like a... and then is gonna set the glass back down next to him and just sit for a moment.
All right. About 15 minutes pass, and then Norigawa returns and goes, all three of you are requested in the main chamber. Follow me.
That I can do.
I will follow.
As do I.
You walk in, guys, and aside from one lantern very high up, it is nearly pitch black. You can only see the outlines of yourselves, Norigawa, and at the back of the room, 3 figures. One of them appears to be holding the book. At this point, we are going to cut back to the underground to Ash. You've made it back.
I made it back home, down
Yeah.
into my basement.
Yep, you are back in the basement. You still hear a very slow of Squidgorku making his way across the main living area.
Sweetie, are you here? Are you here?
No reply.
Sweetie pie, are you here? William? William, you're here, right?
No reply.
William, I have a lollipop for you, William.
No reply.
He said he was back. He said he was back. He said he was back. He wouldn't lie. He won't lie. He won't lie. She just sits on the ground. Look.
He is back.
William?
The voice came from behind you.
William?
Do you turn around?
Yeah.
Sitting on the stairs that you just came down is Volgnaroth. And in his lap is William, who is wearing a dunce cap. I took the liberty of speaking with this fool. I was unaware of the nature of your quarry, but given the circumstances, I believe all can be forgiven. Except, of course, for your... And he grabs William by the point where his neck meets at the base of his body. He's not strangling him, but he's putting some pressure on there. He's like, and William's clearly like, "Ow, no, stop, no, ow, ow, ow." And he's like, for your horrid decision making. Be gone! And he tosses him, and William swoop right back onto your back.
Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. You want a lollipop? I have a lollipop.
No, I'm not interested in your sweets. Sweets. We have something we must discuss.
I know where that book went.
Forget the book for now. Follow me.
Okay.
He snaps, and suddenly a red ring appears below you both. It raises up, and when it reaches the ceiling, you blink, and you are in Volgnaroth's, his domain. His little office that he stays in.
Oh, I'm back again.
Yes.
Nice and neat as ever.
Something disturbing crossed my desk not too long ago.
What?
He goes to his desk and he sits down. And he lifts up a black, and I mean like dark black, what looks like a piece of parchment. He goes, "This report from one of my informants. Something drastic is happening in relation to the Grand Council."
Oh, I need the notebook. Eat the box, read your text. Sorry, go on.
Forget about the notebook. Forget about your texts! I swear I will cancel your service. And no, I don't mean the warlock kind. You get to keep that.
Okay, I'll find
And no bundling either. Discounts my ass! What?
Discuss. Yeah. So what's that paper?
It is a report from one of my informants overseas, or over your seas. For me, they are simply a call away. It relates to the Grand Council.
Oh, the Grand Council, the thing you're on, right?
No, we've discussed this. Roll knowledge history.
I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what's going on, but... So, history? 15?
The Grand Council is the body of fayish, fiendish, and divine beings that divided power after the events of the fracturing at the end of the fragmentation. They kind of serve as the massive governments of the world. Think the UN if it was unbelievably small and every single representative was A, the leader of their nation, and B, had supreme power.
Yeah. Wait, aren't you not even powerful enough to be a part of one? Like the head?
I'm not the head of a faction, no.
Oh, I know. Don't you have to serve someone? That's kind of sad. You should be the leader.
I appreciate the thought. But that's not important right now. I was contacted by somebody, I guess you would call them one of my higher-ups, to gather information on something that's occurred that has them startled. One of my informants brought me back this, and it's disturbing to say the least.
How so?
Rumblings are beginning of a potential new faction far out to the west that, despite their relative youth, has amassed enough power to attract, well, the attention of council members themselves.
Oh, I thought you said it didn't exist.
You thought I said what didn't exist?
The old faction, because you talked about it a little bit how, oh, it's just stupid rumors.
Right. I did have that conversation with you, didn't I? Fine. There's a chance that I may have
Been wrong?
overlooked some important details.
You mean be wrong?
No, I mean made a misjudgment.
She chuckles and then she just sits right in front, like in the chair before her desk, and pulls out a lollipop, and she starts, just enjoying it.
You're going to die.
Oh, she's not laughing at him. she's just her crazy self.
Regardless, I need boots on the ground, so to speak. An investigation of sorts. I'm pulling. He puts his joke palm in the chat if it existed. He puts his hand over his face and says, I'm pulling some strings in an attempt to get you overseas to what is believed to be their point of origin. You are to seek out their members and gather as much information on them as you can, who their leader is, what their entrance cost is, what their exit fee is, their ranks, the quantity of their ranks, any potential movement patterns, sub-colonies, anything you can find out, you will report back to me.
If I do this, I don't have to do the monthly thing, right? I don't have to get you anything?
Yes, this will replace the monthly charge, if you can succeed at it. Roll an insight check.
Okie dokie, 20.
Something has visibly disturbed him. He's clearly trying to avoid getting into the specifics of it, but you can see that something is bothering him.
Are you okay? You look a little bothered. I can help.
I'm not bothered. Let's just say that unexpected complications have increased the gravity of our scenario.
What do you mean?
The informant I sent to gather this information, well, the information came back. The informant did not.
So he's dead?
That's the thing. I don't know. I can't find him anywhere!
Does he
And
have
it
a
is
mark like me?
unlike people. No. This informant is borrowed, so to speak. You are the only one of that is mine and mine alone.
I'm special then.
You're frustrating him. Yes, I suppose in the grand scheme of things you are special.
Yay! Well, I'll do as much as I can, and I'll try to find out a foreman. And if it ends up that it was on his own accord that he left you, I'll make sure to punish him.
If it was
'Cause
of
no
his
one
own
hurts
accord
my
that
friend.
if it was of his own accord that he left me, you will get as much testimony as you can. You will give me his location, you will report back to me. Again,
Can't hurt him.
no, you cannot harm him. It is very possible that the one he serves wants him back alive.
Can I hurt him but keep him alive?
He is borrowed. I have not been given permission to do him physical or mental harm. Therefore, none of my property can do the same.
But he was mean. Well, if it ends up,
He was not
he betrayed you.
mean. He was a fool. And he will be punished as such when he is found.
Fine.
Go. Do what you need to prepare. When the time comes, you will be notified of where you must be, at what time. Do not be late. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Oh, I do have a question. If I do this, does this mean other factions will see me?
Very possibly. I've had to disclose to some for the first time that I've taken another.
I could make new friends then.
I suppose you can.
But don't worry, you're always going to be my best friend. Don't worry about that.
As you start to say that, you feel the force beginning to pull you back toward the door. Leave.
Bye, best friend. I'll see you later.
You get sucked
And
out of the
I'm sorry
door.
about the book. Just what?
Volgnaroth's like, oh, what am I going to do with that girl? Meanwhile, back at the monastery.
Meanwhile, back with our friends. Young hero.
You good there, Isaiah?
Yes.
I was
Everything is
waiting for
fine.
you to take a sip. I win. This man has tried to get me
Everything.
multiple times on stream.
Everything is
Don't play
fine.
that game.
I don't like that look. Oh, my cheeks.
Go on. Oh god.
Fort
hate that.
Ago Vigo.
Yes.
Come forth.
I walk a bit forward.
Do you come forward, like, up to... He's
Yeah,
gesturing
yes,
for you to step
to
before
where,
him.
to where he's, to where
Okay.
I'm supposed to go. Yes.
What you have brought to us has shed light where there is none, and where there is light, shrouded darkness. And I do not mean that which Bycaxian would cast on Nithaxian's ground. It is not your own wrongdoing, but rather that of another. The identity of this we do not know. Reports have come through from some of our allies. This is the one to the right now. The middle one has stopped speaking. Reports have come through from some of our allies that a disturbance has occurred somewhere out to the east. Strong enough that it has shaken those beyond our understanding. The lightless quake where they would never before. And we have a feeling that you may be tied to it in some way. The elder to the left opens his mouth. It was seen in a vision that you were meant to see the book. So here, the middle elder hands you the book, and you notice that all of the symbols have shifted in place and have revealed opened locks.
I
Oh
Open the book.
I pulled my mic out of my. I pulled my headphones out of my mic. No. All right, go again.
I open the book.
At this very moment, I need Torment to roll a Wisdom saving throw, and I need Vort to roll a both of you, Wisdom saves.
Nat 1.
10.
Torment, that shakiness and the screaming, it comes back, but it hits you like a truck this time, and you go right to the ground. Caw,
Okay, buddy.
you feel that warmth you felt earlier go cold, then warm, then it turns to emptiness, and the pages of the book begin flipping wildly. And
My
both of
pain
you
is bad enough where I'm screaming, but in order to contain
you're-
it,
no,
I'm biting
no.
down on my hand.
Torment, you're passed out.
Oh, I'm passed out. Okay.
You are out cold.
You
Vort,
okay there, buddy?
you start seeing images as the pages flip through the book, and you begin hearing voices. And they are voices that you don't recognize. Ancient, holy, powerful. Where did I make it? This one? And this one?
It is of my belief that the job is done. You think so? Perhaps. It is of my belief that Phocacia will not return to us. You're kidding. No. Baphomet, what are you doing here? I've come to protect you both. Move on. Leave this place. If it rises again, you cannot be found. You must be protected, as all that shines truth and hides lies rely on the two of you.
And the voices fade. Torment, you're back in that pale greenish haze again. The thick cloud of spores. And you hear that screaming voice. Stop! Stop!
No. You have something that belongs to me. And the time has come for me to take it back.
Stop! Torment, you feel pain rip through your body as she screams.
Relinquish it. Relinquish what you have stolen from me.
No! 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 You feel a presence in your mind, Torment, amongst this haze, as flashes of icky blackness begin to take hold. What are you doing? I told you! No, Penellum! No, Penellum!